Well, hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome. And again, happy Thursday. I know I say that every time, but I do mean it. All of a sudden, it's Thursday again. How is that even possible, right? The time just keeps flying by. And so today, I'm actually really super excited about our show for you today because you're going to love this topic. And we have an awesome guest that is an expert in this area, and that is Jenn.
Hi.
So happy to have you. Yeah, so and just a little bit of background. Jenn will share a little bit more about her story in a moment. In the meantime, so Jenn has been helping me. Gosh, how long has it been now? Maybe a year or so, or well, actually, way longer, maybe two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was helping me with my Pinterest account. And then we kind of decided to change things up. And now she is helping me with my YouTube account and doing amazing things, repurposing, like actually taking these Facebook Lives and repurposing them for Facebook, as well as creating reels out of them. Did you guys know you can do that? That's actually a thing. So taking the existing content that I'm creating here on Facebook Live and repurposing it for reels on Instagram. So, which is amazing, right? Squeeze as much goodness as you possibly can out of every piece of content. That is definitely my motto. So those of you that are just hopping on, welcome. Happy to have you. I'd love to get a sense of where you are in terms, like, what social media platform are you using? And are you repurposing? Is it video? Give me a sense of where you guys are right now. And that way we can modify our conversation today based on what you're needing and wanting and what you're already doing, right? So Lesli Bitel here, and business coach and mentor, specifically for private practice practitioners. Work with a lot of functional medicine and integrative nutrition professionals. So helping you to build a profitable business, making all the marketing steps that you have to implement seamless and easy so you can make a great living doing what you love. So, all right, let's hop over to Jenn. So Jenn, can you tell us a little bit, how did you end up doing this work? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, it's been a journey. About maybe 12 years ago, I lived up in Traverse City. And
so you know that area very well.
Yeah. And I was getting a little homesick because I am from Detroit. That's where I am now. Yeah. So after like a failed meeting with a local event producer who just didn't show up, I decided to do my own thing in terms of event production. And that's where I really got into social media because I was doing everything myself. I was booking, I was promoting on social media, I was doing PR with local papers and magazines. And then, I decided to move back home because I do miss it. And that's when I got into social media. And then eventually I got into Pinterest, where I met Lesli. And then during quarantine, things got weird for everybody, right? And I decided that, Pinterest didn't really light me up anymore. So I decided I'm going to learn how to video edit. And right around that time, like the Facebook ad retargeting is amazing because I got a coach right then. Coaches totally recommend. My business exploded. That's when I decided not only would I video edit, but I would mostly go after YouTube management. And it's been a wild ride ever since.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I love it. And, it was ironic. So guys, for those of you that just hopped on, Jenn helped me for, it was at least a solid year with Pinterest. And I was kind of like, well, I think Pinterest can be great. But I wasn't like super crazy excited about it, to be honest. I know it's good for SEO and those sorts of things, but I was really looking for someone to help me edit videos. And lo and behold, I get a message from Jenn saying that, she's kind of changing gears and was interested in looking at my YouTube account, which was so perfect, like amazing timing. So so here we are. So, and I didn't know that Jenn is from Traverse City. We were just talking before we hit the live button about the fact that pretty much every June we spend like most of the month of June up in just a little bit further north than Traverse City, a place called Leland, Michigan, and we head up there and you know, right on the beach. So it's a wonderful place. It's kind of like a hidden gem that a lot of people don't know about, right? It's like crazy.
It's really
But
pretty.
it's seriously, I mean, like Lake Michigan up there, it looks like the Caribbean. I'm not even kidding. It's like that bright blue, sparkling. Oh, it's insane. So anyway, really, really awesome. So, okay, guys. So today, let me tell you a little bit about what we're chatting about. So we are going to talk about how to repurpose Facebook Live content specifically. And so the idea is, you know, how can you get the most out of your Facebook Live content? And again, I would love to, is anyone here doing Facebook Lives regularly? Let me know in the chat if you are. Oh, right. Dorothy. Hey, Dorothy. So Dorothy's in Michigander as well.
Okay.
Dorothy lives in California now, but she's from Michigan. And yeah, Leland, it's crazy. It's so gorgeous there. Okay, Karen. Yay, Karen. So Karen is doing Facebook Lives. Awesome. Anybody else doing Facebook Lives? If not, we probably want to talk because I highly recommend it. It's just such a great way to, honestly, it's a great way to build your audience, your email list, and I would say even most importantly, to develop that all important know, like, and trust. And there's just nothing like video, and especially nothing like live video, because there's no editing going on here, right? It is raw as it gets. So, which people like, they get to see the real you, your true personality. And I think that is super important. As you know, we take our potential clients, you know, our prospects, we take them through that journey of them getting to know us, getting to a better sense of what we're all about, and ultimately becoming ready to become buyers, right? And so I feel like the live streaming really tends to shorten the amount of time that it requires before someone is ready to step into, especially a higher end program, right? I think you would all probably agree that in order for your client to step into a high end program, they really do need to have a sense of what you're all about and who you are, right? So it really can expedite that entire process for you. So what we're going to talk about is you're going to learn different ways to repurpose your video content, what platforms. We're going to talk a little bit about the various different styles for different types of platforms. So that is a question I get a lot. You know, Lesli, can I just repurpose my content? Can I put the same exact thing on all of my platforms? So we're going to answer that for you today. We're going to talk about tips for filming to accommodate those various platforms. And we also are, for those of you that are perhaps not quite ready to go live, we'll be talking about an alternative option to live streaming, okay? Which I think will be a good first step for many of you, right? So, all right, well, let's go ahead and jump in. So when we think about the content that we're creating on a Facebook Live, so Jenn, what are some of the ways that we can repurpose this video content and, again, squeeze more gold out of what we're doing?
The most obvious answer for long form content is adapting Facebook Live video over to YouTube. Facebook Live and Facebook in general is great for engagement, But after about a week, the Facebook Live kind of peters out in terms of, being active. But YouTube, it can be active for a while, especially if you optimize the video correctly in the description with the tags and title. You could be getting views 5, 10 years down the road. Of course, I mean, they change the algorithm, but you see my point.
Yeah, it's there. It's there until you decide to remove it, if that is ever the case, right?
Right, and it lives there for a while, so like you can keep utilizing it by reposting it on other platforms and all of that. And I should bring up, I wasn't planning on bringing it up, but TubeBuddy is a great thing to use with YouTube, and their star feature has their star package has a great feature where you can repost that YouTube video natively to Facebook. So it looks a lot like you actually upload the video. So the algorithm likes it because Facebook does not like outside links. And when they view that video on Facebook, you are acquiring the watch time and the views for YouTube channel.
Oh, so wait, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. So is that if you post, are we live streaming directly on Facebook or on YouTube for this feature?
For the YouTube feature, I'm talking about like a static video, something that's been recorded. Maybe you just launched it and you want to promote it on other platforms. This feature, you go into into TubeBuddy, and you actually can share it to Facebook, and it acts just like a video that you uploaded to Facebook.
Oh, that is super interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how it does that, but I guess I don't need to know, right? I don't need to know how or why.
It's a great feature if you end up repackaging something to YouTube and you want to share it later. It's a great option to have.
That's awesome. Are you guys familiar with TubeBuddy? Yeah, you guys familiar with TubeBuddy? I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a great little tool, and it's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
So
super inexpensive.
Hey, ma'am, how are you? So can you repeat that? Because I don't think ma'am quite caught it.
Are we talking about the TubeBuddy Star package?
Yeah.
There's a lot of really great features with TubeBuddy, but the Star package specifically has a feature where you can reshare your YouTube video directly to Facebook natively. And natively means it looks just like a Facebook uploaded video, which has some of the best engagement on Facebook in general. They're also not going, like if you were to put a link of your YouTube video, they don't like you going back and forth to other platforms.
Right.
So they're going to promote it in the algorithm more with this type of feature, or like it'd just be like you uploading a video.
Yeah, that's super cool. Okay. Hey, Shirley. So Shirley says, I've heard of it, but I've not started a YouTube channel yet. Okay, my friend, you are in the right place. Yeah, just out of curiosity, for those of you that haven't yet dipped your toe into YouTube, what's holding you back? I'm just curious, like what, it's, it's, I'm so glad you asked. By the way, I'm going to post Jenn's website, and then it's TubeBuddy, B-U-D-Y. Oops, hang on. TubeBuddy.com, I think.
Yeah.
So it's Buddy with a D. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a funny name, isn't it? TubeBuddy. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So Eileen, hey, Eileen, how are you? Eileen says lack of time. So maybe, yeah, we can talk about some time-saving tips that will potentially help you, because I know it can be a lot. Eileen, are you going live yet in your Facebook group? So that's another option. If you're already going live, we can just repurpose your content and use it on YouTube. So, all right. So So we covered is there anything else you want to add about the different ways to repurpose Facebook Live content?
Sure do.
Okay.
There's probably about 4 different versions. So you also have micro content, which is taking key points from your Facebook Live and repurposing them in like snackable bite-sized versions to like Facebook, Instagram, in some cases LinkedIn. But basically you want to take key points from it. So micro content. And probably my favorite is leveraging your transcriptions.
I love that one so much.
So you can either do it in-house or send it out to Rev, get your transcriptions. You can either go over it or a VA can go over it. You're going to pick out key points. You can repackage it as a blog. You can repackage it in your newsletter. Something else. What else? Oh, Instagram captions, Facebook descriptions, and you also have, you can expand on the key points in other videos, and you can also use some of the quotes from that transcription, maybe in graphics for social media.
Yeah.
So you can get a lot out of the transcriptions.
I really love that. And so I have some clients who, everybody's different, right? So some of my people do not like to write. I'll use the H word, they hate it. Yeah, just because it takes such a long time and they're like, it just seems so arduous, but they don't mind just hopping on a live, like completely, off the cuff, right? And so that is exactly what we have them doing, is getting a transcription from that live, and then again, getting as much juice as you can out of that piece of content, right? And the idea, guys, and those of you that have worked with me, I know Eileen, you're familiar with this concept because we work together. The whole idea is to make your life simple and simpler, right? I don't know, maybe simple is, I don't think simple, but simpler. We're simplifying your content process by having like a monthly theme and then breaking that monthly theme into weekly subtopics. So then if your like anchor content is a live stream or, a video, you go live, you do the video, you run it through, like Otter is one option, and Rev is super easy, rev.com, R-E-V. And I think it costs like $1 a minute to get the transcription. And then you repurpose it. So you just you try to extract as many Instagram posts as you can from it. You pull out quotes. You can create quote cards for Instagram, right? You can create a blog. You can pull it, and it can be like a core component of your newsletter. So that is really what we're looking at. Let's take a peek. So we got a few questions and comments. So yeah, hey ma'am, YouTube feels more exposed, whereas social media is for people I already know. Okay. Yeah, so maybe you feel a little more vulnerable on YouTube. That's understandable. So, I'll nudge you a little bit to step outside your comfort zone, right? So maybe YouTube is a good opportunity just to kind of dip your toe, right? So it really, you might be able to reach additional people. What I like about YouTube, guys, is it's searchable, right? So you can, I think that's really super key when you think about it. So like all of your content that you put on Instagram, like let's say you do this amazing, set of posts on, I don't know, inflammatory foods, right? Inflammatory foods to avoid, to reduce pain or something like that, right? And which is great. Like, I think it's great. Keep doing that. The reason YouTube is advantageous is because if someone types in the browser, hey, I'm looking, for what are the top inflammatory foods to avoid, if I have chronic pain, you're more likely to pop up, right? So it's searchable, right, Jenn?
Yes.
And don't you think that's one of the huge advantages?
It is. It's the second largest search engine out there besides Google.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Google owns YouTube. So there you go. So they're gonna, yeah. So even if you're repurposing, and guys, you don't have to go live on YouTube. You really don't. Now, right now, me, Lesli, I am live streaming in a whole bunch of places at once, right? I'm actually live streaming simultaneously on LinkedIn, my Facebook page, 4 different groups, and YouTube. I think I'm live streaming on YouTube too. And am I? Okay, thank you. So yep, I thought so. I wasn't sure if we had changed that. But anyway, and then so Jenn will go back in and optimize it for me, right? And then she'll add like an intro, and like some branding on the front end of my video. And what she does for me is, although I think we stopped doing that, we used to divide it into 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Into 3 parts. And then we're kind of playing with just, having one longer video on YouTube just to see how that performs.
Yeah.
But she's entering all the keywords. So keywords that my audience is likely to be searching, in hopes that, my video will show up at the top of the heap when someone is searching for that specific topic. And guys, just so you know, that's what we're using TubeBuddy for as well. That tool that we were talking about. It's really, I think really the purpose of that particular tool is to be able to do a little research in terms of keywords, right? And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like these other things that we're talking about are probably added bonuses. So yeah, so because you want to ideally, now there is a fine line, right? And I think Jenn would probably agree. Like, I don't want you to go down the rabbit hole with, doing research before you create content. But because, you don't want to go to the extreme and then be paralyzed. You want to create content that your audience needs. Ideally, they want it, and this is stuff they're actually searching for, right? So I think it's a bit of a balance, but it certainly can't hurt if for sure, if you validated the concept on TubeBuddy, that people are actually searching for that.
Right.
And then Shirley says, yeah, time and responsibility. Oh yeah, you're working as a nurse for sure. That are you working full time? That can be really busy, right? Okay, can you use live Zoom content from a group and repurpose? Yeah, how does that work, Jenn?
It's just as easy as editing something like this. I would probably enlarge the video a little bit, maybe to get rid of some of the Zoom branding. But it's possible. It kind of depends on how you want it to be edited. But it's definitely possible. One of my clients is a CNN correspondent, and his podcasts are done similar to this through Zoom, and they just kind of shrink it down a little bit and put some branding on the outside of it, and it looks great.
Oh, that's a great idea. I use Zoom for almost everything else. Yeah, I like that. So you may want to get rid of the Zoom logo and use your own, if possible, if you can use your own branding. Yeah, I thought you were going live, Eileen. I will do every week soon, but I do need to get on there as much as I can, interviewing one of my clients Saturday and getting a Facebook. Great. Okay, so you're doing the Facebook invites. That is amazing. So basically the people you're inviting are going to get an email then, which I think is really powerful. Where do we get the okay, so go to, and Jenn might know some other options. I use Rev. It's REV as in Victor.com. So rev.com. And it's super easy, guys. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Because, yeah, I don't love tinkering with tech myself. All you do is literally upload your video and run it through. It could not be easier. And then, hey, Cindy, how are you? So Cindy says, I'm now doing Facebook. Yes, that is awesome. You're doing it every Monday. So good. Oh, gosh, your mom. Well, you know what? We all start somewhere. Seriously, we all start somewhere. I would just say keep it up. Keep it up. Don't stop. It's a-okay. The other thing that you can do is have your videos, put your videos on your website. Do you have any suggestions for that?
I definitely recommend it. I would embed it as many places as possible. It helps the searchability on Google.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great. Yeah. And that way, when your potential clients are doing a search and they're checking out your website, they will not only will it help your searchability, but they'll also get, they'll get to see all your content. And I think that can really help convert clients. Yes. I've known Eileen forever. Eileen, we go way back, girl. Okay, Otter is way cheaper. Okay. All right. So I know that my Rita on my tech team, she uses Otter. So that's great to know. And Cindy uses StreamYard, and you post. Okay, great. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm using StreamYard. All right. Let's see. Got lots of comments. So hi there, ladies. I'm doing 2 weekly lives in my various group programs, and I need to repurpose. Oh, my friend, you are in the right place for sure. All right. I really want to congratulate you guys for, putting yourself out there and doing those lives. Cause hey, I know sometimes you just don't feel like it, right? Seriously. Sometimes you just don't. But that being said, when you show, I think it's just so important that you show up for your audience, even when you would rather not, right? It really is super important. So, and I can attest to that because I've been doing this, going live for 2.5 years, every Thursday for 2.5 years. So, every now and then I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Right? You wake up on the wrong side of the bed sometimes, and sometimes it honestly, just full transparency, it can be challenging, but you just do it, right? You just do it. So, and then I always am so glad when I have pushed through it. Okay, so do different platforms prefer the different approaches with video? Tell us a little bit about that, Jenn.
Well, obviously YouTube it prefers long form content. So that's usually the first place you want to take something. But then you've got Facebook, which really loves video. Facebook, it's the top performing media there. So especially when you post it natively. But
let me ask you a quick question about that. The fact that we're streaming through StreamYard, do they consider that native or no?
It is native.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Whenever you post a link is when they kind of suppress it a bit.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Instagram is more visual. You usually do best there with carousels. And then images and then videos, but video has been kind of exploding on Instagram in the past couple of years too. So it does a lot better. I know that they had Instagram TV, which is kind of their long form version.
Yeah. Are they still doing? I've heard mixed things. Is that even still
around?
They
rebranded it.
What is it?
It's now called Instagram Video, and they're going to start phasing out the extra app for Instagram TV and just everything. I mean, it'll still exist, but they're trying to phase everything over to one app.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually they're
called something different.
Oh yeah. but both Facebook and Instagram, it's kind of short and sweet, getting to the point type thing. They want shorter content.
Okay.
And then LinkedIn, it's always usually just catering to that specific type, the business person, they usually older. So you're really just looking at where your audience would be and then just kind of adapting to it.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So, so can you share some tips on the filming process so that the video footage can be, adapted to different platforms?
Yeah. Well, the first thing, if you're going to move over to YouTube, there's just some tweaking that probably needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing is having that, the hook. With YouTube specifically, when people click on your thumbnail, like you've got to grab them with a thumbnail first, but they want to be convinced that they're not giving into clickbait. So you got to kind of remind them right away why they're there and what the topic is. And then you can lead into your video. Sometimes a short little intro, but I wouldn't go crazy with it. And then a lot of people miss opportunities at the end of the video to really promote something, maybe another video related. I would try to keep it like, according to the time. Like you don't want to promote something you have next week because YouTube lives forever, right? Or at least now. Yeah. But promoting probably another video because videos can actually be updated in terms of the end screen. And then in terms of repurposing content for, micro content, you're going to want to try and keep key points separate from community engagement. That way, when you go to take a clip of the key points, the quotes and everything, it's uninterrupted because, the micro content, there's a max amount of time you could use, say, for a reel. So you want to try and cram everything in that little time bite.
Right. Oh, those are good. Really good tips. Okay. So I'm looking at some questions here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here real quick. Okay. Oh yeah. So Eileen says, to clarify, when I send the Facebook Live invites, I send them for my entire Facebook group so they don't get an email unless they're on your list, right? Okay, that makes sense. I think if you create an event, I think you can invite, but I think it's people that you're Facebook friends with. I think that's how that works, right? Do you know, Jen, in terms of how to actually invite people? Because I get invitations all the for events, all the time.
Yeah. It's been a while since I hosted my own Facebook event.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe I get invites all the time too.
Yeah. How do they do that?
I don't even know. I don't have an invite right now to try it out, but I know in the past what I used to do.
Yeah, I think, unless it's different, this is what I used to do. So I don't think you can invite people to an event from a private group unless those same people, I think you can only invite people that you're Facebook friends with. So it's kind of weird, right? It's not like, so basically my understanding is that if you have a lot of friends that are in your target audience, you can kind of categorize them inside of Facebook. And then when you create an event on your page, it's easier because you don't want to invite a whole bunch of people that would, not care about what you're doing. So but you can invite people that are, Facebook friends with you. And as it turns out, they get an email from Facebook with the invitation. That's my understanding. I don't think that's changed. So Cindy has several questions. Do you recommend putting your live video on your personal Facebook page? Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it depends on how you want to separate your business life from your personal life.
Yeah.
I personally would, but I'm in YouTube, so
yeah.
My target audience is pretty broad. So I guess it really depends on what you want to do, but I would.
Yeah. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's yucky. And Karen, regarding lives, It's a hair thing. Finding time when you have something to say, time to say it, makeup and your hair behaving. I often just give up and jump on as I am and cook. I think that's fine. It does take a little planning. You know, the thing that I do recommend is if you're going to go live, ideally you're going to go live the same time every single week, because you know your audience then knows what to expect. You know, you help them to create a habit. Like, you know, like many of you, which I'm so grateful and happy you join me, you know, quite frequently, same time, same place, right? If I just went sporadically, you wouldn't really know when am I going live. So I do think that is helpful. And I don't really think, like, people want to see the real you, Karen. So I think no makeup and, you know, just show up. I just say show up for your audience. And then what is native posting?
Native posting, specifically with Facebook, I mean, it can go across different platforms, but in this case, it's basically, I'm posting off of Facebook, but it looks like Facebook. So it looks like it is originating at Facebook. So native means basically originating. So in this case, like, it's a huge plus because the Facebook algorithm prefers you to upload videos there, and it's exactly what it looks like.
Right.
And acts like, it behaves like.
So it would be like, so like if you did a Zoom video and then uploaded it onto Facebook, that is not native.
Oh, actually it would be.
It would be? Okay.
Yeah, it's when you, say example, maybe you recorded the Zoom and you posted the link.
Well,
that's when it wouldn't be native.
Okay, like you're not, okay, I know you can live stream through Zoom, but let's say people that aren't comfortable live streaming and they're using Zoom, right? Because I do have lots of clients in that situation. So they'll do a video on Zoom, you know, and record it, and then they'll share it on Facebook.
Right.
So would that be considered native?
As long as they upload it to YouTube.
All right, so
Facebook. Yeah, upload it.
All right, that makes sense. Does that make sense to all of you guys? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. What do you recommend for someone who's busy and can't be on every platform? IG versus TikTok versus YouTube.
See, I always recommend about 2 to 3 platforms. Nothing more. You don't need to spread yourself thin. But example, if you're on IG and TikTok, a lot of the dimensions for especially the video content is interchangeable with stories, reels, and TikTok, same size.
Yeah.
So, and you can even use that for Facebook if you're on there too. Like if you just want to concentrate on that type of thing. But if you're already creating a Facebook Live, I would definitely at least use YouTube, even if you're not doing all the extra stuff. Like, I recommend optimizing it, but if you're not, like, just using it as a depository, because if you have a website, you can at least embed it. You can show it to your clients if they have questions and you're like, I have this great video.
Yeah, that's great. And then Cindy, how long would you recommend doing a live? Like, so the duration of the live. Do you have any recommendations on that, Jen?
I say as long as it is to get through the information that you need to cover and you explain it well.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's different opinions on that. So one opinion is, again, you don't want to extend it artificially, right? Like you don't want to do that, because then that would be strange, right? But I mean, one advantage, I don't think it has to be super short on Facebook Live. I really don't. And part of the reason is because, you know, as people are jumping on the platform, they can see that you're live. So sometimes you catch more people if you're on the platform a little longer, but you don't want to artificially extend that, right? I completely agree with Jen. Okay. So to invite people from an event that you create, you either have to be friends, or I didn't know about the new feature or you can invite them by email. I'll have to
That's
look
nice.
at that. Yeah, that would be awesome. Really super helpful. Okay, let's try to get through a few more of these questions. So, do we talk about the tips for filming Facebook Lives so the video can be adapted?
We did, yeah.
We covered that. I thought so. Okay. All right. So, I really love, what if someone really loves the idea of repurposing content, but is not a fan of live recording? What would you do?
Oh man, there's so many reasons for this. Like maybe you're scared to get on camera, you got questionable internet connection. You want to take more control of your video, the content you put out there. Well, you can pre-record. You can write your own script and pre-record it. I suggest when people pre-record, I love it because I get to actually, if I mess up, I stumble over my words all the time. I just stop and get in a neutral position and start all over again. But you get to edit it exactly the way you want. And then you just upload it to your preferred program, whether it be StreamYard or OBS, and you can go live there. And instead of all the energy you're putting into being live, you can be engaging people in the comments. And the other option is there's a program called One Stream Live where you can actually send it out to probably like StreamYard, with the exception of you can schedule. You can actually schedule that pre-recorded content. So say maybe you're going on vacation, but you want to still do your normal stuff like going live. But you can actually have maybe a VA or something work the comments for you. So that's another option if you still want to continue your business while you're on vacation or doing something else.
That's a great option. And I've actually done that. And it worked. I was like, oh, I wonder if this is really going to work. It did. And it is like, if you're out of town or, taking a week off or whatever, that is an awesome option. And honestly, it doesn't look, I don't think it really looks any different, right? I think it's a really, really awesome option. So do consider that. And I think that is an option. I know for sure you can do it in StreamYard, right? You can do it in StreamYard. So that is awesome. All right. So let's see if we got through everything. If you were to give one piece of advice, what would it be, Jenn? I know that's a tough one, right?
Yeah. My one piece of advice is to just get out there. Like, don't be really nervous about it. It's a huge world, right? So just take a chance, get uncomfortable, get in front of the camera. Because the amount of information that you give out in a video, once you go through all these different repurposing options, you can create a lot of content and save yourself some time in the future.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So for those, everyone watching that wants to take a stab at repurposing their content on their own, what would you recommend they use? What kind of tools?
I use something that's a bit complex, but that's just because that's what I started learning. I'm on DaVinci Resolve, and I gotta say, I went through 2 computers already trying to find something strong enough. But I did run across something, I believe it's called Veet today, actually. I was doing additional research, and it allows you to actually change the size of, to meet all these different platforms. And it's really, really cool. Like, you can share directly from there. So that's probably something I would suggest for somebody that's just getting into it. And I'm sure there's more programs out there. But that's the one that really impressed me.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, and I would second what Jenn just said in terms of words of wisdom, and that is just get started, right? Just get started, make a commitment to yourself. Here's the deal, guys. If you want different results, you have to do something different, right? You got to do something different. So I really want to encourage you to step into video. I really think it's a game changer. And let's see, I think we got, let's see. Oh, okay. We already did that one, Eileen. Okay. So Karen has a question. So you live stream a pre-recorded video. Does that ever appear awkward? Does it look staged? I actually did do that, and it was fine. Now, you know, I did it with a guest. Actually, if you go back, if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, it was a full script interview. So I interviewed someone from Full Script, and that was, it's an example of, it was a pre-recorded, and we did it on Zoom. Now, the one thing I will say, the thing that I forgot, so I went back and looked at the video. I'm like, you can't even tell. And there were comments too. And so it did not feel staged, maybe because I had, you know, someone else there. I don't know. It seemed natural and fine to me. But the one thing that I forgot to do was change my settings. I had my settings set such that the speaker was the one visible. So I would say, like, instead of having a side by side, we kind of like the screen switch back and forth between her and I. So that would be my suggestion, is probably don't do that. I think that's kind of distracting. So I would just have it set so that, you know, we're both showing. But yeah, otherwise it was fine. I would say the only thing is, I would recommend that someone on your team, Karen, if you're out of town, maybe your VA can monitor for comments, you know, because that, if no one's answering comments, then that might be a little bit awkward. But otherwise, I think it's totally fine. It worked, and it's an awesome option. And I've had clients that have done that, and it works really well. Like, one of my clients does interviews with, you know, just like interviews with past clients. And she calls it Up Close and Personal, which I think is super cool. And she does it once a month. Some of these people, they're not super comfortable with going live, right? But she has a show every Tuesday at noon. So she's done it many times, especially with clients that aren't comfortable going live. So she'll do the Zoom call, you know, she'll record it, and then set it up so that, and she uses StreamYard as well. So yeah, so it works great. I highly recommend. All right, guys. So do you feel better? Let me ask you this. Do you guys feel a little more inspired to do some live video? I hope so. Even if you're busy, right? Even if you're super busy, it can still be done. And you know, sometimes we tend to overthink things. We make it like way bigger, right? Myself included. So just try to, you know, break it down into smaller steps and just look at it as an opportunity, you know, an opportunity to get in front of, I mean, you vastly increase your reach, dramatically increase your reach. And I mean, think of it this way, like back in the old days, right? I mean, there was no way we could access people this way, right? Like, you would have to pay for a TV commercial, or, you know what I mean? Like, I just look at it to be just like the world is your oyster. And I mean, seriously, I would just really encourage you to give it a try. Let's see. So yay, Karen got some great ideas. Hey, Amanda, I didn't know you were here with us. So you're going to give it another try. Yes, absolutely. Give it another try. And, you know, Amanda's in actually 2 of my courses now, the Academy and Lucrative Course Blueprint. So yeah, so I'll help you through, really. Definitely want to support you there. And then, hey, Dorothy. So Dorothy says, I'm so thankful you have taught and pushed me to do these. It makes me look like a rock star. Woo! I love it. And you are a rock star, my friend. So you deserve it. Yeah, it's the best, guys. I love it when I see you putting yourself out there, because I know it's not easy, and I know it can be scary. And I know the first time I did it, I was truly freaked out. And it didn't, and I think I've shared this story. It really didn't turn out very well at all. I pushed the live button, and some of you already know this story. I pushed the live button. I was all ready to go. And I had this horrible echo, really bad echo. It was so distracting. I just couldn't even plow through. And it's because I just didn't have, So it was just a tech thing, but it was really distracting. And I just had to say, I got to go. Can't do it. And then, next following week, I was a little nervous, but I got back on the saddle, as they say. So let's see. Oh, okay. So Haley, what would the difference be between StreamYard and Veet?
Veet that's the program I was just speaking about, right?
Yep.
That's actually an editing program. StreamYard is for streaming content. So if you wanted to repurpose a video, you put it in Veet, and then you can actually edit it for every single platform you're going to put it on. It's a very simple editor. It's nothing complex like, Adobe products or DaVinci Resolve, but it's very user-friendly.
Yep. Awesome. And then Cindy thinks it would be better to go on YouTube. I really like YouTube. Now, I will say the one advantage to going live in your Facebook page, even if you don't have an audience, I'll tell you, there is an advantage, and that is that you can run ads. Okay. And that's what we do. So we run ads. You do need to create an event on your Facebook page, and it does not have to break the bank, I promise. But I gotta say, it is an awesome way to leverage, paid ads and to grow your list, right? To really, increase your exposure. So, but either way, I would just say start wherever you're comfortable. If you think YouTube is the way to go, I mean, there's tons of advantages to YouTube as well. And you probably can, yeah.
I actually forgot one more option for repurposing is podcast. After you do your video, it's very easy to actually just clip out the audio. You can edit it a little bit more to be podcast friendly, but it's a super simple repurposing option.
Do you do that, Jenn?
I have not, but the ability is there. DaVinci Resolve lets me do it.
All right, my friend, we might have to talk about that because, I've been thinking like, where else could I be? So maybe we need to chat about that. All right. That's a great one. Yeah. So do you guys see there's so many different options for repurposing? And again, we want to squeeze as much goodness as we can out of each piece of content to get the most mileage as humanly possible. All right. So Jenn, where can we find more out about you? I think I shared your website, but I think it kind of got lost in the comments.
It's okay. It's Jenn Price. There we go. That's it. Not .com, .co.
Okay. Jenn Price. And that's JENN.
Yep.
.co. All right. So check out Jenn Price at her website. And, again, if you guys need help with this editing process, highly recommend. Like I said, I've been using, having Jenn as part of my business now for 2 years, and it's awesome. And she's a fellow Michigander, so gotta love that as well. All right, guys. So anyway, it was great spending time with you today, and I hope you learned a ton. Thank you, Jenn, for joining us and sharing your wisdom. And I look forward to seeing you all same time next week. All right. Take care and have a great rest of your week. Bye for now.